sweet old hereafter. Got one foot in the door. But before I can fly up, the blue sands to tie up right here in the old there before. I'll be alone when I've finished my song, when I've worn out the band, I've played out my hand, but now. Oh, I forgot the next line. I don't know who's in, 'cause I can't see my chat right now. All my settings got reset, guys. 1 second here. Don't mind me, I'm fucking freezing. Freezing my ass off. And I don't even know if there's anyone in. Sure. What? I don't wanna. No. I don't have to scan the QR code. Sorry, guys, I'm having technical difficulties. This is what I get for trying to stream on Twitch and YouTube at the same time. Yep, sure. Let's do that. Uno momento, por favor. This is how we do it. This is how we do it. Na 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 na. This is how we do it. Hello. Technologically challenged. Why OBS? Why the BS? You really put the BS in OBS. There we go. It was right there. And now my computer's not responding. Headed for heaven. Sweet old hereafter. I've got one foot in the door. Before I can fly up, my program is frozen. I don't know what the fuck happened. Would you please respond, oh streaming program? Would something please work? Am I restarting it? Let's try this again. Why is it a bitch? Sorry guys, I literally can't even see chat because like it's being a dick. Press again. Pretty sure I already did this. That's not the wrong password. Do I not know my own Google password? Fuck me. I screwed everything up. That one. I'm gonna lock myself out, aren't I? I don't know my own password. Fuck. Why am I stupid? I apologize, everyone just sitting there talking amongst yourselves, watching me fail beautifully at this. Like, I went and changed something and it screwed me over and I really shouldn't have done it. One second here. Do I really have to install something? I can just do it on default photo. Okay, cool. Give me the fucking QR code. Hello? Hello, chat box. Why does life hate me? Sorry, guys. Don't mind me. Is it gonna work? Go to. Why the thing? I don't know what's happening, guys. Help. Let's try this again. Phone, what is your problem? What is your problem? Try again. I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand. I can see that you're there. I just can't see what you're saying. Try this again. We'll try this again. We'll try this again. Try this again. Copy. Haha, I copied you to clipboard. You gonna work this time? Something went wrong. Why? I'm gonna try to get my password right. Great. Hang on a second, I gotta check my own fucking password here. I promise I have something good. I really do. It's your favorite time of day where Courtney gets mad about things. I just can't figure out my own stuff. Love it. It's great. Where's my password? Help. Help. I need somebody. Help. Not just anybody. Help. Where's my password? Help. Do, 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 do. No, that doesn't tell me. Ah, here we go. One second, I think I may have figured it out, guys. Okay, fine. We'll just. Uh, Ooh, lordy, lordy, I hate when it does that. Uh, That's fine. Why do you do this to me? I'm so sorry, everybody. Wrong password, my ass. I just changed it. Let's try this again. Fucking hate OBS sometimes. It's kind of a dick. Couldn't load that page. Of course you fucking couldn't. Let's try it again. Just give me the same fucking message. I don't have to use my phone just to see that chat. Actually, why don't I just do that now? I'm so smart, guys. I'm just the smartest in the world. I can see the chat. Oh, I can't sign into chat. That's fine. I just talk to you guys anyway. Alright, we're not gonna fuck with anything anymore. Just turn it to live chat and then go from there. It's about to get janky for a second while my computer does things. Alright, let's see what I missed. Okay. Max is here. Hello, Max. Hello, Carlisle the Cinephile. Hello, Hailstorm, Wendy Bro, Lad Violet, Zomboy, Living Abnormality, Omni, Jenny Evans, Iron Bowman, the Linden Hour, Patron Dump. Jeez, there's so many of you guys here today. Hello. So what's with the title? The title is, I'm gonna monetize this bitch. Hang on, let me turn monetization on, because your girl is cold and broke. So sorry if you guys get ads. Okay. All right, we should be good. So, for anybody who doesn't know, by lolly I mean lolicon, and lolicon is I think originally it was a anime genre, though it's typically attributed to an anime porn genre, a hentai genre that involves the sexualization of young girls or characters that look like young girls. Like a lot of lolicon people will use the argument that it's not a 4-year-old, it's a 300,000-year-old demon that just looks like a 4-year-old. So, I've had a few of them come out of the woodwork and decided to speak to me, which is just a bad idea for them anyway. So I figured we'd expose some asses and talk about why lolicon is just fucking disgusting. And there's a difference between the porn and the sexualization of young children, which is lolicon if it's female, shotacon if it's male, and the fashion that is like Lolita fashion. They're two very different things, first of all. So the first person we're gonna call out is, oh, Carlisle, the Sunfall. The fact that I know what lolly is makes me very sad. Some of y'all need Jesus. Thank you for the $5, by the way. Grunkle Funkle changed their PFP. Oh, did they? Shit. Grunkle Funkle's here. I love that name. Alright, so the first one we're gonna look at here is Princess Kikiyu. And let me shift this down a little bit so you can see there we go. So this person, I say use the term person lightly, sorry, showed up under one of my followers, the archivist is their channel name, I believe, made a video about Lily Stockholm recently, and this person showed up underneath that video, making all kinds of comments. Now, they used to have a whole lot more on their channel. They had a lot more community posts. And this is the kind of wild shit that they say. So we're gonna read this. Well, I'm going to read it to you guys so you can just like see the fucking mental state. Well, projected mental state, I should say, because I don't know any of these people in reality. Um, what they think and how they feel and how they talk. So first, there's their about section on YouTube. So you got some, I'm 14 and this is deep, with wounded flesh, broken body, and a forever tainted soul. Only fiction creates a peaceful mold. Only in fiction can worth blossom from within the soil's hold. Pronouns, it's itself, like nobody gives a shit. Those whom by existing endanger lolicon aren't welcome in this place. Lolicon. An endanger lolicon, which we just established is a porn genre of sexualizing young female children. It is not Lolita fashion. Not much. Jaden, you just started. Hello, Aaron. Welcome in. Children aren't welcome. Fair. People who are attracted to children aren't welcome. Fair. People who take issue with people being attracted to children aren't welcome. So pedophiles not welcome. Anyone who doesn't like pedophiles or takes issue with pedophiles isn't welcome. And then the caveat ends with all of the above put lolicon in danger simply by existing. So priestess kick you if that's what you're going online. By online anyway. You joined November 5th, 2024. That's ironic. If you think people who are attracted to children put lolicon in danger, and by lolicon they do mean, well, no, they don't mean fashion, and you'll see what I mean as we get into it more. If you think people who are attracted to children put lolicon in danger simply by existing, that is you yourself taking issue with people being attracted to children. So you yourself are not welcome on your own channel by your own metric. Real funny caveat to throw in there. People who take issue with child predators aren't welcome. Oh, by the way, I take issue with child predators. Okay. People who take issues with child predators are normal, relatively well-adjusted people, just so you know, honey, in case you're watching. And then we have this lovely novel that we're going to skim through here, because holy shit, it's so long. There used to be much more on this page, like a good like 4 or 5 different community posts, and it's just hang on, let me find an interesting, like a what's the word I'm looking for, a coherent enough spot to fucking jump into here. Is this a child? I have no idea. They don't say. But I love this. I do not deserve to suffer so much. The idea of dying is capable of making me experience a dopamine rush. So Honey is sitting here with clapping emojis going, oh my god, guys, I have suicidal ideation. Like, it's 2025. We all have suicidal ideation at this point. To all the lewd images of lolly characters is literally not different than child sexual exploitation material. My country is not a piece of, My country is not a piece of shit for creating laws designed to slander lolicons. You're a piece of shit for being attracted to something I told you wasn't okay. Fuck you very much, you fucking evil fucking sexual predator. I'm cognitively disabled, not stupid. I mean, arguably those two words mean the same thing. I hate this. I hate that it's not illegal and a fucking felony to assert that a child or animal being victimized, is being victimized when there's literally not one present at all. And their argument is Did I literally touch something? Did I literally penetrate something? Did I literally take literal pictures of a person being abused? Bitch, calling ex CSAM inherently asserts Y as a victim of CSA, you fucking asshole. I want you jailed and unable to fucking vote for the crime of asserting falsely that an act of sexual abuse against a child has been recorded when you're talking about a goddamn cartoon. So this person, with their whole ass chest, is saying, I should be able to jerk it to the depiction of a child being violently abused and violated in the most criminal of ways possible because it's not real. Honey, the fact that you looked at it and took your dick out is a problem, and I really don't care if you have a dick or not. I'm using that proverbially. This is Eric Cartman, right? Like, do you legitimately understand why taking pictures of kids when you find kids attractive is wrong? Um, it's not just pictures of kids, honey. Like, you don't seem to understand that child sexual exploitation material includes depictions of children in a sexual manner. So, like, someone taking a picture of their kid is not child porn, but someone taking a picture of their kid deep throating a hot dog is child porn. Because you have that kid doing a sexual act. Like, I can't believe I have to explain this, but seriously, even law, like people who are pro-lolicon, like pro the depiction of children being violated in the most heinous of ways possible. Like, it doesn't matter, it's not a real child. It's still a depiction of a child being violated in the most heinous ways possible, and your response to that is to whip your genitals out and start diddling them. Like, what is wrong with you? I don't deserve to suffer. If that's what you believe you deserve to suffer, you should be attacked personally and you should be bullied off the internet. And if you think that if you have suicidal ideation because of it, good. That means that society is doing its fucking job. We love it when the trash takes itself out. Like, if you spend your time viewing sexually depicted children, you are a problem that needs to be solved via lead poisoning. Like, it's because I don't think, wait, I think your dumbass thinks it's wrong because attraction bad. Yes, attraction to children bad. That's exactly what it is. It's not about the fact that people are using people as objects. It has to do with the fact that it's children, honey. It is like this here because using people as objects for sexual gratifications is wrong. Yeah, that is true. And then also being attracted to children is wrong. Is it wrong for the same reason going to a pool or beach and snapping pictures of random men or women you find attractive to use later without asking permission first? Like yeah, I don't understand. It's also wrong if you draw somebody naked and you're basically trying to use the argument of its fiction to violate somebody's consent and boundaries. Like your ideal world, because let's see this again. Only in fiction can worth blossom from within the soil's hold. Only fiction creates a peaceful mold. So your idea of a peaceful mold and worth is depictions of children being abused and violated and damaged beyond repair? Like, that's your idea of a peaceful mold? Yeah, I really do hope that you have ideation. I really do hope you struggle to continue on in this world, if that's what you think. We're not done. Mostly because we're still not done skimming through this fucking thing. This one. Do you fucking morons genuinely believe that you can exploit a character? Do you fucking moron not understand that it's wrong to get your rocks off to a child being depicted as hurt? Gonna jump in here with some anecdotal evidence. My dad made CSAM of me. First of all, I'm so sorry, the Spider Queen. I know he's seen a lot of Loli. I genuinely believe Loli is part of the reason he hit the nerve to act on it. Yeah, because there's this thing called desensitization. Kind of like when kids grow up in environments that are extremely violent and volatile, they get desensitized to the aggression and the violence, and they become comfortable in it, so they seek it out in reality. They want to make their reality as comfortable and familiar as the environment they grew up in or the thing that they are romanticizing in their head due to fucking exposure and being desensitized to it. So in no way whatsoever is desensitizing yourself to depictions of children being sexually abused and violated and assaulted in some of the most heinous ways depicted. And a lot of this shit goes has these kids in diapers. A lot of this shit has the artists getting outed as using real children for their fucking reference. So to sit there and go, nobody got fucking harmed by so and so drawing a 40-year-old man anally penetrating, a toddler in diapers. Except for the toddler that actually exists in real life that was, traced over as a model for that cub porn that you favorited, Lily. This is just absolutely, I hate experiencing suicidal ideations that are also impulses. No. You bastards made me weigh the pros and cons of continuing to exist in the universe. This is fucking stupid. No, you're fucking stupid. You should continue to weigh the pros and cons and realize that the cons outweigh the pros and act accordingly. Wait, 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 wait. First, it was these demons are never going to stop. I want to die because you can't cure sexuality. Are you admitting that you're sexually attracted to children? That's you admitting you're sexually attracted to children. Bro. Wait a minute, is this a post made by Lily? No, but this is by someone who absolutely supports Lily. And then we have another one. We've got another one. We've got this one. Hang on, it's got to load. This one is, I don't know, I guess a system. They showed up under, I don't know, they were commenting on my Ethel call-out video. Child sexual exploitation material and child sexual abuse material will always involve a real person experiencing real abuse and exploitation. And right at the end here, we have Stockholm and Bittersweet Apple Massacre will never be child sexual exploitation or abuse material because they will never have a victim. Do not muddy the terms exploitation and abuse. I am the victim, sweet cheeks. Stockholm was written off of what was done to me by its author, my sister. An erotic image involving Scootaloo and Rainbow Dash is not now and will never be, no matter how much your defective, deluded brain tells you otherwise, child sexual exploitation material. Wrong. 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 And to sit here and sorry, here's the other part. X must be capable of literally experiencing harm in order to qualify as a victim of something. Must be capable of experiencing negative effects from XYZ to be capable of being a victim of something. A TV can experience damage but not harm, having no consciousness. A TV can't be negatively impacted by being kicked and thus can't be a victim of assault. Scootaloo can't experience harm or the negative impact of being incapable of consenting. Rainbow Dash can't experience harm or the negative impact of seeking and not finding seeking sexual gratification, but you who are experiencing the negative impact of seeking and not finding sexual gratification because you're tired of reading about kids being raped and you want to start watching kids being raped is a real person. And yeah, that's me inadvertently calling you a victim by the own parameters that you have set up in your fucking post. But right there, we have proven that there's nobody real involved in this. You, by your own metric, are the real person involved in this. I am the person who experienced the harm and the negative impact of not being incapable of consenting to my sister abusing me for years and then raping me in my sleep for a year, nor was I able to consent to her thus making a fucking fan fiction that spans longer than the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy, glorifying what she did to me, spreading it out to millions of people on the internet, and thus using it to groom more people into her sphere. So by your own metrics, you're fucking wrong. You fucking goaler. Absolute twat. You don't know what you're talking about. You want to be able to jack it consequence-free to a fucking depiction of a child being assaulted. And you don't want anybody to call you out on it. Well, sorry, free speech. You're a pedophile. I'd say get help, but we all know that's not what I believe. The only help you need is a bullet right here. I mean, this works too, but it's more likely to go in here, possibly here, maybe by your ear canal if you point it up at the right angle. And I hate this and this bullshit argument of like, oh, it's trauma therapy. People cope with their trauma by making this kind of shit. People do not cope with their trauma by putting themselves in the mindset of their abuser. Period. Period. Full stop. Fuck you. I don't need an education in anything to tell me that. Just simply put, nobody who's coping with their trauma is going to imagine themselves victimizing themselves. Which is all you're doing by proposing the idea that someone's going to cope with their trauma by putting themselves in the shoes of the abuser and doing everything the abuser did that made them feel so small, worthless, broken, and undeserving of love to begin with. So, fuck you. Fuck you very, very much. The kind of bullshit rhetoric that you're trying to pass off as that's just pro-pedophilia in reality is taking advantage of the fact that people don't really understand trauma art and trauma therapy. And for the most part, trauma art and trauma therapy, like trauma art therapy, has to do with processing yourself and your place as the victim. It has nothing to do with understanding or glorifying the abuser's actions. Okay? You don't romanticize your abuser. You romanticize your abuse. Which means you act like you convince yourself in your head, for the most part, that you had a choice in it, because that gives you a modicum of control in retrospect over the feelings and the emotions that are brought up. You can then dictate your own emotions if you convince yourself that you've been in control and in charge the whole time. People don't do that by putting themselves in the shoes of their fucking abuser. And nobody posts their therapy sessions free online for everybody to listen to or read or see and enjoy as content. So the second you're posting your pedophilia fanfic to the internet for people to read, like, share, distribute, and comment on, you're out of the category of it's vent art, it's trauma art, it's therapy. This is for my processing of my trauma. Well, then why aren't you live streaming your fucking therapy sessions? Why aren't you recording any actual fucking therapy sessions to, like, I don't know, be fucking consistent Because it's not anything to do with vent art. It's not anything to do with trauma. It's not anything to do with therapy. It has to do with you want to glorify your sexual attraction to kids. You want to normalize it. You want a shield to hide behind so that people can't do anything about it. And then you're going to be all fucking surprised when somebody beats you to death in the street. My favorite thing in the world is watching parents stand in court going, yeah, I beat that motherfucker to death. I absolutely killed that bitch and I'd do it again. He touched my kid. I love that. I love that so much. Some of my favorite ones, therapy is supposed to be confidential. Exactly. You open yours. Well, no, but see, that's the thing. It's not even the second you post it, you open yourself to the chances of a pedo getting hold of it. The second you post it, it's not fucking trauma art. It's not therapy art. It's glorification that you want somebody to say good job about. It's something you want clout and attention and positive association for. You want pats on the back for the depiction of child rape that you fucking drew, and that's why you put it on the internet. And like, anybody who's going to sit there and fucking tell me different is absolutely lying to themselves. Like, for the exact same reason that you don't go into your fucking therapy session going, I'm gonna live stream this on Twitch because someone out there might feel better about it because of their trauma. And that's what people always say when they post fucking child porn on the internet. Oh no, I wanted someone who's been through what I've been through to feel seen and heard. Okay, so why aren't you posting your therapy sessions? Because you're fucking full of shit. And you just want to glorify, like, sexually abusing children. You want to glorify it, you want to normalize it, and you want to send out messages to your fellow fucking pedophiles. What if the post is tagged as vent art? No, that's just a bullshit caveat. The second you post it anywhere for public consumption, that's not your fucking therapy, because therapy is not content for public consumption. And if you're doing it for public consumption, it's performative at worst, it's intentional, it's a performative at best and intentional at worst. There's a tag, okay, so pedophiles try to use the maps tag and it doesn't do jack shit. People who claim to be trans age want to hide under the trans tag. That doesn't mean jack shit. It's just a bullshit cop out excuse. Like, no. And especially when it has to do with, like, fucking depictions of child rape. Like, you saw that and, like, you drew that or you wrote that and you made that and then you went, I'm proud of this. I'm going to put it on the internet. People don't post shit on the internet when they're ashamed. They post shit when they're proud. So to sit here and say I'm proud of my depiction of child rape is like, that's literally what you're doing by hitting that post button, by fucking creating the post anywhere to begin with. You're saying I'm proud of my depiction of child rape. And if you really think that that's an okay way to think, you have so many fucking issues. So many fucking issues. And I don't accept the bullshit, a caveat of like, it's on an 18 plus website. That's great. You know what else is an 18 plus website that is child porn? Pornhub. You know, Pornhub chose to shut down fucking, like operating fucking sites instead of trying harder to take child porn off their platform. I'm not trying to start shit, but what if someone's just talking about their life? Would that still be inappropriate? Well, no. Because that's not, you're not creating that. You didn't create your life. Like, I didn't create the fact that my family abused me the way they did, or the fact that my parents abused all of their children the way they did. I didn't I didn't sit here and think about what would make an interesting story that I'd be proud to put on the internet and just made my fucking life up. Like that's completely different. It's not a creation. It's not something I made. It's shit that happened to me that I'm recounting. Because, like, you don't create, like, you create your life, like, to a certain extent. Yeah, there's, like, a nuanced argument into that. But you don't create the events that happen to you as a child. That's not, that's not within your control. And to a certain extent, with the way predators act, with not just child victims but adult victims as well, you can't necessarily you can't any at any point control the actions of another person. So you can't control if a predator is going to target you. You can only control your reaction to it. The difference is like the creation of something and then sitting there and overlooking it one or two, maybe more times and going, I'm proud of this and I want to show it to other people. Guess the way I see it, as long as the media in question is tackling those bad subjects in a tasteful manner, it's fine. Not for everyone, but still, however, Stockholm isn't that. I don't, see, I don't agree with that. Like, there are enough people that this shit has actually happened to that need a voice and need to be paid attention to, that you don't need to write it into your fictional fucking storyline. It's not, this is a hook that's gonna draw in views because so many people have been raped. Maybe do something about the fact that so many people have been raped by putting your fucking billions of dollars as a TV corporation somewhere to good use instead of into like the top exec's third fucking yacht for the year. Like, I don't actually agree with like fictional media covering topics like fucking child rape, rape in general, suicide. Like, it's just when you've created a fictional thing about it, then there's the backbone of, am I proud of this? Am I not proud of it? Do I want to show it off to people? And like, when you're depicting somebody being fucking raped, you should not feel proud of that. You should not go, I want to show this to people. I want to take two people who may or may not have actually been in this situation and make them depict it in a way that makes other people think that it's real. Like, that mindset in terms of topics like that is so fucking gross. It is so inherently predatory on its own right because you're more interested in that mindset. You are more interested in the fucking appeal of people being abused and violated than you are in the reality of people being abused and violated. Not just Has Been Hotel Grunkle Funkle. I mean like 13 Reasons, Euphoria, like even like not even just animation, live action too. Like yeah, there's certain topics that you can maybe broach on in certain forms of media to help start a conversation. You know, Different Strokes did it. They had a two-parter episode about a bike shop owner that actually was a child predator, and they never like depicted the kids getting abused, but they very much showed their grooming tactics. And they started off the episode with like the main guy who played the dad going, "Look, we're about to cover some really heavy topics in this episode, and the reason we're doing this is so you can talk to your kids and you have like a little bit of an understanding, like, and a jumping point to have this conversation." Like, there was more thought process put into that back then for like family TV than there is now in shit like Euphoria when it's just like, let's just have a bunch of teenagers addicted to drugs and raping each other, and then, like, we'll make another show about suicide, because, like, that's the hot shit. That's what kids are into right now, right? Rape, drugs, and suicide. Like, that's trending. Are you saying no media at all should discuss, not show heavy topics such as abuse? No, I'm not saying it's not quite that black and white. I don't think that any media should be depicting some of the more heinous shit. Now, that doesn't mean you can't discuss it. That doesn't mean you can't talk about the things around it. It's kind of like in the fact of like not everybody who covers my sister wants to talk about her more heinous crimes. They just want to focus on her media shit because it's light and fluffy. And like, you don't have to cover all the heavy shit, but you can talk about how she uses her fucking media takes to groom audiences more than you harp on the fact that she doesn't understand your lesbian rock show. Look at take into account Law and Order SVU, perfect example. It's live action and it discusses and sometimes depicts some very fucking heavy topics. Um, It mostly discusses them, actually. And that's in my opinion why it's a good example. Um, it'll show, like, it'll depict a lot of things like grooming, coercion, coaching, like all the things that come with and around abuse without actually depicting people being abused. And they do it, in my opinion, they do it in a very, very balanced, tiptoe of the line way where it's a great point for having a discussion without glorifying the actual act itself and the heart racing, adrenaline pounding moment of making the person at home feel like this person is actually about to get raped. Like, no. They look at the, like, they focus more on the aftermath, what it looked like before, what it looks like after, how it looks like dealing with it, instead of the actual thing itself. Moral oral, um, honestly, no. To be honest, moral oral is another one. I would say it crossed the line in terms of my metric here. Like, and my metric means nothing. I'm not a producer. I'm not connected. I'm just a nobody on the internet spouting out my fucking shit opinion. And if you don't like my opinion, throw it all the way the fuck out and come up with your own. I highly encourage you to come up with your own. This is just my bullshit opinion. Um, which at the end of the day changes nothing and affects nobody and changes and, ruins nobody's life, so take it with a grain of salt. Lily Orchard, shitty Pokemon takes, and also a sex pest. I mean, she's literally a pedophile. Sex pest is fine, is one thing, like, that can be worked on, but pedophile is incurable. I don't really see the point in showing just a graphic scene of someone being abused. And that's what I mean. Like, it's the angles of it where it's glorifying of it, right? Like, if they're showing the abuse and then just brushing over the aftermath, like, take Euphoria, for example. They showed a lot of fucking, what's her name there? The brunette, I can't remember her name. They showed a lot of her getting abused, a lot of her boyfriend putting his hands on her and a gun to her head, and a lot of, like, really triggering, really, like, emotionally packed moments, and dealt with nothing surrounding it. So it wasn't even a discussion of, like, an abusive partner. It's just like, hey, guys, act like you're a woman beater for a minute. Ratings, because ratings and money. I have to go to the bathroom. I will be right back. It's so fucking cold. It's cold in my house. It's cold in my house. Ugh. Sorry, I had to put my layers back on. Where's my headphones? Oh my god. I'm so fucking cold. My furnace is broken, guys. It's the middle of winter and I have no fucking heat. Or hot water. I hate it. We gotta get a technician to come out. I think it's like, I don't know, it could be anywhere from $300 to $600. We don't fucking know. We won't fucking know until he comes. And I'm scared. I don't know how long my heat's gonna be out. It's like 13 degrees inside my house. Like Cuties is another thing. Anyone remember that movie? Fucking, it was supposed to be a conversation on how society sexualizes children, and yet all it was just a bunch of kids twerking and flashing. Cuties was so gross. It's so cold. Thank God for onesies, but oh, Megan Lyle, thank you for the $1.99. So sweet of you. Sorry, I'm just reading chat. I'm catching up on it. Sorry. Never saw it, but heard of it. Well, I never saw it either. I just watched other people talk about it. For clarification, I've never seen it. People tried deflecting the blame just because it tried sending a message. What? Oh, yeah, but see, that's exactly my point, though. That's like what I was kind of like trying to speak on earlier was like you can have the discussion without depicting the act itself. Hope the director was arrested. I hope the director was arrested. I hope the author was investigated. I hope the screenwriter was investigated. I hope every single parent that agreed to letting their child do that is investigated. I hope those kids get therapy. Like, oh my God. Put your toaster air fryer underneath your desk to stay warm. I mean, yeah, but that's gonna run my electricity bill up the fucking wall. And I don't even know how much this furnace issue is gonna fucking cost. So it's don't really feel like running the power bill up, you know. It's by a black French woman, yeah. It's like okay. It's like just because you're black doesn't mean you can't be like you're not shielded from, doing wrong, like depicting children sexually. You can have the conversation about how society sexualizes children without being part of the society that sexualizes children. I mean, yeah, Moon Pizza, fucking great minds speak alike. I swear I didn't read your comment before I said that, but the director only got hate for being a black woman. Like, no. I didn't even know she was a black woman, okay? I didn't even know it was a woman. I assumed a dude wrote that shit, okay? I don't give a flying fuck what your gender or your race or your ethnicity or your culture or your religion or your spiritual beliefs or your zodiac sign or your fucking astrological alignment or your fucking astrology sign, your moon rising, sun setting, Mercury's in retrograde bullshit. I don't care. I don't care about any of that. You're depicting children sexually. There's something wrong with you. Oh my God, whatever you do, don't run gas stoves. No. Jesus Christ. We don't have a gas stove. We have an electric stove, but the oven's fucking broke, so I can't even like run the oven and open the door. So like this is why I vehemently defend Vladimir Nabokov's Lolita. I don't agree with that book, but that's just my personal opinion, and I don't. Admittedly, I've never read it because I've never wanted to, so I can't speak very much on it at all. Because I've never read it, I just know the subject matter goes, no, thank you. Now, there's a difference in my opinion, which ties back to the like people talking about their lives thing. There's a difference between like an autobiography or like a memoir or like somebody literally just putting their recollections down on paper and selling that. I do find that is completely different than like fictionalizing something and then being proud of it. Because again, that's just written testimony in my opinion. That's no different than like court documents being publicly available. And like considering the Freedom of Information Act, you do actually have to pay for some of that shit if you want access to it. So like books like A Child Called It, even Anne Frank's diary actually, for example, like those are different. Trying to write a story about someone who was exploited by the model industry as a child. Do you have any advice for how not to cross the line when it comes to the betrayal of his experience? Well, Bubblegum, in my opinion, not that I'm like a real professional writer or anything, and like nobody's beholden to writing or creating shit to my standards. Just preface right there. Y'all do what the fuck you want. I am nobody's mother. I am nobody's keeper. I do not control y'all. But in my opinion, since you asked, it would be more important to focus on the effect rather than the cause. You know what I mean? So like how it affected their lives going forward as opposed to the specific acts themselves and when and where they were done. Because that's like and I say this from experience in talking about like my own life, my own experiences, my own abuse and shit. People seem to like in my experience, people have seemed to connect and feel more seen by the things that I have talked about around my abuse instead of specifically the abuse itself. Um, like the outcome of the parentification that I went through as a child and like how that's shaped me and how I interact with like relationships going forward because of it. Um, like talking about that shit has actually, in my experience, can like reach people on a deeper level than just describing how my parents parentified me, if you get what I mean. Like the connection between the two and the effect rather than the cause are the more important like aspects to focus on if you want the discussion to be there and not just like the depiction of abuse. The author of Lore of Olympus based her story off the movie adaptation of Lolita. Oh God. See, that's a movie that shouldn't have been made. Um, very curious on what your take on something like Silent Hill is. Uh, well, see, when it comes to like horror and gore and shit like that, like Silent Hill, in my opinion, falls into like torture porn, like Saw, the Saw franchise, the Hostel franchise, not slasher fix, but you know, the if the point of the movie is like the gore and shit, that is different. Um, because death and gore are just a natural part of life. And nobody is exempt from it at any point, really. Um, I never saw Twin Peaks. But like, if you think about it, death is unavoidable. The only things certain in life are death and taxes. And gore just comes with being alive. All right. The act of, um, like animals being butchered is a gory fucking process. The act of preparing a body for burial is actually a very gory fucking process. A lot of medical procedures are very gory processes. And like so there's a lot of life there's a lot of the life that gore is not specifically unavoidable. Yeah, a good portion of the populace can shield themselves from it, but it's not unavoidable. And there's always the chance of like you see a freak accident on the highway and like you see the blood and the gore of that. Or like you're a hunter or you work on a farm or you go fishing, you just stumble across a dead body while you're going fishing. Like gore and death are unavoidable. Um and but like there is also very much a difference between like fiction and reality in that aspect, and not in the same aspect that lolicons use it. It's also important for the person watching it to understand that there's a difference between fiction and reality when it comes to like gore and just violence on, say, like adults. And for example, like how I used to explain it to when I was raising my ex's kid. Um, he like the kid was obsessed with Batman, so his dad used to like let him watch like The Dark Knight and shit when he was like 3 or 4 years old. I didn't agree with it, but it wasn't my place at the time to say anything. So I would just have conversations with the kid and be like, you understand that this guy beating up all these other guys is only funny because nobody's actually getting hurt, right? Like, this would be really, really bad in real life. And there is, in my mind, a difference when you're talking about Batman beating the shit out of 6 guys that are coming at him with a weapon and a child being abused. Because as much as it sucks, the idea of somebody getting into a fight on the street is a plausible thing to happen in life. The idea of a child being abused should not be a plausible thing to happen in life. Yep, seeing roadkill is a part of it. That's very gory. A child only understands cannibalism at a young age, not the reproductive process. Like, and that's the thing, like, there's also, like, you grow up watching, Animal Planet, you see gore, you see things die. Death and gore is an unavoidable part of life. Child sexual exploitation doesn't have to be. So there is a very big difference in, you know, taking a bit of the seriousness out of a very real part of life that is unavoidable and glorifying something that everybody should be trying to stop. And there's also the fact that like torture porn's fallen off in popularity because it's not getting like people don't care anymore. They'd rather have a lot of people would rather have a conversation than just see how far practical effects can go. And you got to remember when it comes to like gore in movies, some of that is just trying to see how far practical or like computer graphic effects can go. Some of it is like they did just because they could and they didn't stop to think if they should. Batman would be horrible in real life. Oh my god. Yeah. And like in by societal standards too, Batman would not only be horrible, he would be a menace to society because like if you factor in his martial arts ability, the strength training he does on a regular, the fact that 90% of his suit, including the gloves, are bulletproof, and then he's beating the shit out of people. Like, this man is breaking spines and vertebrae and bones and putting thousands of people in the hospital and driving up taxes and medical, he is not a good guy in reality. It's only, yeah, get him, Batman, because it's not actually happening. But again, there's also a problem with that because when you have the wrong kind of people watching that shit too much and desensitizing themselves to it and losing grip on the fact that it's not actually reality, they go and try and do that shit in public. They go and try and do it in reality. So even to a certain extent, like gore and violence and shit and all the depictions of that in media is like not always great. Like it needs to be to a certain extent. People and that opens up a conversation of who's responsible for that? Is it the producers? Is it the TV broadcasters? Is it, you know, people themselves? It's just, yeah, Batman, you just killed Jim. He was working for the Joker. Because Joker had his family hostage. And there's also the fact that morally Batman's just not a good guy. Because how many kids has Joker killed because Batman refuses to kill one man? Like, shit or get off the pot. Like, there's so many conversations there to be had. But point being, like, there is like evidence to the science, like there is science, evidence and studies to back up the fact that if you desensitize the wrong people to the wrong shit, they'll go out and do things. Holy manslaughter, Batman, right? Holy attempted murder, Batman. Bruce Wayne could have put money into helping people and he chose to beat up the homeless instead. Exactly. Bruce Wayne chose to let a psychopath, homicidal serial killer escape from the same prison over and over and over again because he's bored with his orphan life. We're all just joking here. Opinion on when age gaps start to get creepy. In my opinion, like age gap, what did I do with my coffee? There it is. Age gap relationships, it's not the number that makes it creepy inherently, it's the context around it. Now, when the younger person's at the range of like 18, 19, 20, it's a little, that alone's gonna make make people raise some eyebrows and ask some questions. But like, I don't know, my first long-term relationship was a 15-year age gap. My next long-term relationship was a 16-year age gap. Like, I only do age gaps. Um, but for me, in my opinion, it all depends on how the people met, how the relationship started, and also the dating tendencies of the older person. Personally, I think it's a red flag if the older person in the relationship has a history of age gap relationships, like they're constantly seeking out younger people. To me personally, that says you're constantly seeking out younger people because people your age won't put up with your ass, and you need the manipulative ability of somebody with less experience than people your age. Um, which, is obviously more of a red flag if you have multiple, like, if you're always the older person in the relationship and it's always by like 8, 9, 10 years, then yeah, that's clearly you're seeking out a power imbalance, in my opinion. Um, oh, well, let's talk about this. Yeah, no, I know, like, I've got a lot of opinions on age gap relationships. I've got a lot of experience with them. I was having a conversation about the side subject of child marriage. Jesus Christ. Good guy billionaires may as well only exist in fantasy. There's one. There's one. Richard Branson, I think is his name. He's like up there. He's like one of the most wealthy men in the world. There's Jeff Bezos. There's Elon Musk. There's the other one, and then there's I think Warren Buffett is his name. And the last one there has the lowest net worth of all of them because he actually pays people what they're worth and he actually does good things with his money. And like he says shit like, yeah, fuck. There was this image that went viral. He found an employee taking a nap on a couch in the office or something, and he went and posed like thumbs up, big smiles next to this employee, posted the picture online, and like the caption of it was like, this young man is taking a nap after like, working really hard and like just really big upping this dude and the work that he put in. And he's like, and I'm glad he feels comfortable like to recharge and be like just kind of, saying all the right things in terms of like, you need to treat your employees like they're human. You need to pay people what they're worth. You need to let people exist as people, and they'll do great work for you because they want to. What about at 35 and 17? No, if the other person's under 18, you've got no fucking business. In my opinion, if the younger person is under 22, you've got no fucking business. About to turn 20 and she was 25. I mean, 5 years is not that much of an age difference. Especially once you're in your 20s, like 20 and 25. You guys are about at the same point in life. Your experience, like, that's another important factor. When it comes to age gaps is like the dating history of the older person, the circumstances around the which the relationship was formed, excuse me, and where the two of you are at in life. So, anyone else under 18? Sorry, I just got the internet community ran harassed us and called her a pedophile for dating a 19-year-old. Okay, who was about to be 20. Yeah, see, that's the thing. So it's the dating history of the older person, um the circumstances around which the relationship was formed, and Jesus, I just lost my third thing there. Oh yeah, the place the two of you are at in life. Okay, so if you take a 20 and a 25-year-old, you guys are roughly in the same place in life, okay? You're both probably in and around college, either thinking about it, getting into it, or getting out of it, okay? You know, you're in and around, especially this day and age, you're in and around moving out of your parents' house. Maybe, maybe not, because like the economy is garbage everywhere. Um, you're both like, fairly new in the job market, like your experience levels are relatively the same. You're both kind of in the clubbing, like frat party age. So like your goals, your experiences, um like a lot of different things match up there in terms of like a 25-year-old who's dating a 20-year-old. Yeah, that's not a pedophile. That's what Lily and my parents tried to say about my ex-husband, that he was a pedophile when like I was 18 when I met him and he actually carded me and he literally said, if you're not 18, you're getting the fuck out of my place. Um, 35 and 17 is gross. Yes, anything under 22 is like, and I say this as someone who got into an age gap relationship as at 18. You shouldn't be in an age gap relationship with anyone under 22, in my opinion. You just fucking don't. That's still a child. I don't care. You're still even a youth until you're 25, but like at the very least, it's like 22 and up, and it shouldn't be 18 and 25. Again, I don't believe in under 22. Like that's high school and college. They don't mix. College, you're doing frat parties. You're just starting the club in life. High school, you're in high school. Like, no. I don't think anyone above that's not a teenager should be dating a teenager. If you would cringe upon telling your friends or family I'm dating a teenager, you shouldn't be doing it. Like the 7 plus X divided by 2 formula. I mean, Canada has something like, if it's within 5 years. Like if your age gap is within 5 years, but that's just the Juliet clause of the consent laws. So like you can't consent to sex until you're 16 in Canada, but if you're 14 and your partner is 16, you guys can consent, like you can consent to each other. No high schoolers should be clubbing, exactly. But it's just like it has, and that's what I mean by it has to do with like where you're at in life. You're an 18-year-old, you're thinking about final exams, maybe college, maybe your first job. You're trying to get your independence as someone who's still like probably living with your parents. 25, you're not even a youth anymore. Like you can like like I think even in Canada you only just barely qualify for like a first time homeowner's loan at that point anymore. Like they're just very different places in life. Got together when he was 21 and moved in together 6 months after they started dating because of lockdown. Oh God, no. Red flag. Red flag. I swear to God, everybody who like moved in together because of lockdown is no longer together anymore. Never rush to move in with somebody, okay? Never rush to move in with somebody. Because moving back out, when you inevitably break up, as you probably will if you're young, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be doomer about it. It's just the reality of shit. Your mind changes a lot when you're young. You change a lot as a person when you're young. So someone you get involved with when you're 20 is probably not going to be someone you're involved with when you're 30, because the amount you're going to change as a person in those 10 years is going to be astronomical. And it happens more often than not that when people grow, they don't grow together, they kind of grow apart. Okay? The relationships where people tend to grow together are relationships that are established when people are already solidified in themselves as a person. So, like, if your parents got, like, married in their 30s, one was 32 and the other was like 37. They both kind of knew what they wanted in life and like they weren't going to do too much more changing as people, so they're more likely to grow together. Whereas like if you're dating your high school sweetheart and think you're going to be together forever, oh honey, you are not. I'm so sorry, but the chances of that happening are so astronomically low because you're going to become an adult and realize that the things that you wanted as a child are not necessarily the things that you want as an adult. And there's always a chance that the person you chose when you were a child doesn't turn into an adult with you. They may stay a child forever. They may stay a child longer than you do. They may hit adulthood mentally before you do and decide, hey, I don't want this, I want something more serious, I'm out. And it just happens. Wait, who are we talking about? Are we talking about that weird teacher that married her like 13-year-old? I feel like a lot of people forget that Corny's going off Canada logic. What? What logic? What am I not doing? What am I not getting? Do you think a middle schooler and a high school senior is weird? Yes. Like, if you think about that, that's someone going through puberty and somebody ready to apply for college. Those two have no business, like, they don't have shared interests. They got no business being in that kind of relationship. That's like a babysitter and their fucking kid that they babysit. That's not partners. Alexis, what are you talking about? I'm so confused. Oh, okay. So 50 and he's 26. Okay. You have this friend that you have feelings for, but he's married. Okay, regardless of how you feel about his wife, honey, I'm sorry, but he's married. Move the fuck on and find someone who's available. No, no, you're fine, living abnormality. I was just trying to see what everyone was talking about. Americans are a lot weird about age gaps. It's dubious for a freshman and junior to date, at least in my current experience. No, see, oh my God, that's it. Okay, so sorry, I'm tripping over words right now. So that explains why I've had people come to me, like not like random kids or anything, but like I've seen it in my server a few times. I think I've seen it in the chat here, where I've actually had people be like, I'm in an age gap relationship, and it's like, well, how big is the age gap? And it's like 2 years, and it's like, that's not an age gap relationship. That's fucking normal. If you factor in people potentially being held back or even pushed forward in school, you're still in the same social circles at that age. That's not an age gap. Oh God. A lot of religious people are fine with age gaps. That's no. Sorry, just reading through chat here. Saying you're mainly going off Canada laws and stuff. Yeah, well, I know a lot of states have a Juliet clause as well. In terms of the Juliet clause in that Canada has. And you got to remember, Canada doesn't like specifically work like the states in certain things. Like age of consent is a federal thing. That's not each province gets to decide what its age of consent is. They can do that for drinking and smoking cigarettes, but um, not sex. Weird fact, my grandparents got married when they were 18 and 21. See, 18 and 21 is not a weird age gap at all. The fact that they were married that young makes me raise an eyebrow, but that's probably due to, like, one, the time, and two, religion. Definitely not comparable to 5+ years between an adult and a minor. Well, no. I remember really wanting an age gap relationship when I was younger. Well, yeah, it's just, that's also like romanticized by the fucking, by like not even just media, but like it's romanticized by like society too. Because growing up as a girl, you hear the whole like girls mature faster than boys, so like you're more mature than the boys your age, which is already priming you for being fucking groomed. Because oh my god, you're so mature for your age, and like you're already more mature than the boys your age. So if you're mature for your age, then no wonder the 30-year-old man's interested in you at 12. Like that's a real fucking slippery slope that like we're already primed for when as being AFAB. Not to mention the like abuse being normalized of like, oh, he's hitting you because he likes you. Love is pain. I thought it was weird for me because I still had recess and he owned a car and was applying for college. Exactly. Exactly. Like your quote unquote partner at the time is like go hanging out with his friends and they're like, yo, where's your partner, bro? And he looks at his watch and goes, probably at recess. Like and especially if people are like, oh, don't tell anyone. Or don't tell anyone our age gap, don't talk about our age gap. Like if they're already uncomfortable talking about the age gap, then you know something's wrong. Child marriage laws are insane. I think all marriage laws are insane though. Like I just don't believe in marriage the way it works in society nowadays. Or at all, like not even before. I don't believe that the government, like if you're religious or spiritual and you want to have like a ceremony for your spirituality, your faith, and your friends and your family, it's a party. You have whatever party you want and theme it how you want and conduct your party how you want. I don't understand why the government's got to be involved in my sex life. What about what is it? Hang on. The traditional high school romance. She was on the cheer team. He was on the faculty. Oh, that went right over my head until the second time I read it. Oh. See, the funny thing is, Zerzion. Um, if you flip the genders, nobody gives a shit. The media never gives a shit. Maybe AFAB, but I ain't female at heart being intersex. Oh, fun! Living abnormality. I'm not sure if you mean that sarcastically or not, and I'm not intersex, so I don't know what it's like to live like that. Excuse me. You're mature for your age and you're not like the other girls. Yeah. Nobody understands me but you. Like, you get me like nobody else does. Like, huh. You should not be connecting with a child as an adult. And I say this as someone who like gives support to like a under 18, a minor online. We don't have a connection. The kid projects a bit onto me in ways that make them feel better about their situation, and I keep them at arm's distance while also being like, I'm glad I could help in some way. Somehow existing helps, and that's cool, and I'm here to be like, well, that bitch, if you need it. But I got no connection to somebody else's kid that I don't actually know from a hole in the wall because all I know is what they've told me on the internet, and I don't know if any of that's even true because I ain't done shit to fucking verify it because I don't care to know that much about somebody else's kid. So just the idea of an adult talking about their connection to a child that is not in like, and if that connection is not in any way parental without the like intention of exploiting it, then like something's wrong with you. You're doing that because people your own age will not fucking tolerate your shit. My financial status in general. Wait, proverbial you? Oh, the government having a marriage laws affects your taxes, at least in the US. Yeah, no, it does in Canada too. I mind talking with teens who are 16 plus, but nothing less than that. I mean, like, yeah, and everyone should have boundaries. Everybody should have boundaries and be cognizant of it and think about it. Wait, do you actually mean that seriously, shouting at clouds, or are you saying something sarcastically? A woman is not a burden to a man. If a woman can't exist without being a burden, they are not wife material. A good woman amplifies the potential of a man. I guess I don't want to be wife material because I identify as a problem. Oh, are the preachers gonna come in? Can we have the preachers come in? That would be really, really fun. I'm a Satanist, honey. Bring it on. Jesus, Max, I'm so sorry. See, that's what they do. What did I jump into? Not sure. It kind of devolved a bit. We'll probably go back into the Loli conversation because that's a conversation that needs to be had over and over and over and over because everybody who is pro-lolicon needs to yeet themselves from the planet. Yeet yourself into the sun. Find some way to unsubscribe from life and fucking do it. The way people sexualize anyone being groomed is gross. Someone with Christian beliefs, I hate the assertion that child's marriage is okay. Yeah, bad Christians are kind of the worst. Bad Christians and like Jehovah's Witnesses and fucking Mormon Baptists. Fucking all the bad Christians. And I can say that because I grew up Catholic. I was baptized at birth. Well, not at birth, but as an infant. So was Lily, and somehow she didn't like fucking shrivel up and sink her way back to hell like the demon she is. Huh. Oh, have you guys seen her latest bullshit? Speaking of, let's pull YouTube. Have you guys seen her little list of philias? No, sorry, phobias. Philias. I think people who are into lollies or furries need help. Orange, you realize I am a furry, right? And a monster fucker. I'm a proud member of the monster fucker community. There's no. I vehemently disagree with your assertion that uh furries are in any way the same as lollies. Like, absolutely the fuck not. Nobody, no, not one furry, and I'm not talking about zoophiles that disguise themselves as furries. Not one furry has actually gone out and abused an animal because, like, that's literally not what being a furry is about. Hang on a second. Furries are fine, lolicons aren't, exactly. Are goblins okay? I think that fits into the monster fucker community. The monster fucker community covers a lot. It's a very wide umbrella term. Yeah, she called Krim a pedophile out of the blue. That's not new. I mean, it is sort of new, but she's also tried that before. What's my fursona? I've got two, although I don't actually have reference sheets of either of them. There's Chai, who is the strawberry cow that you guys see in and around a lot, that I do a lot of art of. She's one of my fursonas, actually. And then there's Poi, who is a swamp wicker beast. Furries have a closer like alien and monster shit, no? Right? See, that's the difference. There's furries, and then there's like furries that are into furries. Like there's people that just have a fursona and they wear the suit or they want a suit because it's like a mascot suit and it's just dress up, it's cosplay, it's fun, and it's harmless. And then there's the furries that are into like furry porn. What are werewolves counted as? Both, I believe. Does my family care about my ex-husband? Oh no, my family called him a pedophile. They still do. They hated him just on the premise that he was 15 years older than me. My only issues with furries are wearing tails and shit in a more professional setting. I don't know what's to hear this, but please don't wear your tails and your ears to school unless you want to be bullied. I mean, I used to buy like real fox tails from the international powwow when it would come to Halifax when I was a kid, and I would like clip them on the back of my jeans, like the back belt loop, so that it looked like I had a tail. And I did that for me, and I didn't give a fuck who made fun of me. They're like, "Oh, yeah, nice tail." I'm like, "I know, right? It's fucking sick. You're making fun of me, but I fucking love this thing." Um, but yeah, you don't wear fandom shit in a professional setting. I mentioned goblins because some consider them lolly masks. That's so rude. Halflings and dwarves need love too. Like any amount of zoophiles. Yeah. Wear that shit on your own free time. Hey, school is my free time. You're just mad they have the balls. Omni, I'm playing. Oh yeah, no, so, wait. I want to bring up sure that if a lolly character talked and acted like a mature adult, it would turn them off because they don't have the same vulnerability, right? Saw fanfics. Slenderman is that monster fucker. Yeah. Yep. Chill on short people. You have to balance my comeback later. Alright, see you later, Max. What about dwarves? No, it's just that they exist, and like, what if, like, what if a full-grown dwarf and a full-grown goblin want to get it on? They're the same size. What if like the gnomes and the halflings and the dwarves are just kind of tired of the mechanics of like taller people? What exactly is lolicon? So anonymous lolicon is typically there's like a few variations of the word because you've got Lolita fashion, which is sometimes referred to as lolicon fashion, which is like a Japanese-based fashion style with so many different subsects to it. There is the manga art style, which is usually porn. It's usually hentai, and not usually, it always depicts a young girl being sexually abused and or raped. Usually under the caveat that it's just fiction or she's really a 4,000-year-old demon. She just looks like a 12-year-old. And the male side of that, if it is a young boy being depicted as being abused, it is shotacon. It's a horrid thing that shouldn't exist, and everybody who defends it is a pedophile. I don't care who you are, and I don't care if you like hearing that or not. If you defend lolicon, you're a pedophile. If you defend depictions of children being sexually abused, you're a pedophile. Simple, straightforward, black and fucking white. There is no nuance to this. Yeah, Shotacon is the male version. As someone who hasn't grown an inch past middle school, it makes me worried since people out there really think my height promotes pedophilia, something you can't control. That's pretty fair, Orange Glad. There is um ooh, there's actually this woman that I've seen on social media more recently now that she's tiny, like she has some sort of genetic thing going on, I think it is, where she's like absolutely tiny. She looks like she's the size of a 7-year-old, and like her social media shit constantly gets taken down because it's like sexualizing a child or exploiting a child because like the bots see her as a child, and like anytime she tries to go out in public like dressed like the adult that she is, she gets like accused of sexualizing children or being a child, trying to be an adult, like so many things because of a genetic condition this woman cannot control. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. And have we seen Lily's shit? She posted this. I don't fucking remember when. It was not that long ago. Somebody sent it to me in the Discord, and it's just as a fun question. Can you think about and list all of the things you are irrationally afraid of on the internet for public consumption, just cuz? Which is totally not a self ask and absolutely something anybody would think is a fun idea. Now, for those who don't know, and I'm going to take this bong because it's been sitting here. No, not dwarfism. It's a different genetic condition because like she is actually like completely proportioned. I don't know. Maybe it's a kind one of the like a kind of dwarfism. I'd have to look it up again. Do rings? I can't. Okay, so for anyone who doesn't know, Lily, you don't know this, so listen up. A phobia. Hang on. We'll Google the definition of a phobia. Phobia definition: an extreme or irrational fear or aversion to something. Irrational. What does irrational mean? Not logical or reasonable. Not endowed with the power of reason. So, Lily, as a fun question, list your irrationally not rooted in reason fears from least most to least severe. Does it? Did I go too fast? Yeah, shit lags when it changed cameras or changed screens. It does that. Okay, so somebody just randomly asks, what are your irrational fears? Irrational being not based in reality or logic. And the first one she writes is fear of one's sister. So you're irrationally and illogically afraid of your sister, Lily? That tracks. Fear of empty spaces or voids, and also fear of small, inescapable spaces. So you don't like big spaces, but you don't like small spaces. I'm really surprised you didn't throw agoraphobia in there to say you don't like the outside itself either. Fear of spiders. Sorry. Oh my gosh, guys, I fucked up there. An irrational fear of empty spaces or voids, and irrational fear of small inescapable places. Arachnophobia, an irrational fear of spiders. Dentophobia, an irrational fear of the dentist. Okay, let me explain something to you, Lily. Being uncomfortable does not make a phobia. Okay? Not liking the discomfort that comes with having a dentist drilling in your mouth isn't a phobia. And the fact that you have a violent, visceral, explosive reaction the second you're uncomfortable isn't a phobia. It's probably a personality disorder. Do spiders exist in Canada? Yes. We have deadly spiders in Canada too. But see, that's the thing. Being jump scared by a spider that showed up where you weren't expecting one is not a phobia of spiders. Being freaked out by a large spider and the way its legs are moving as it skitters across the floor and having a bit of a, oh God, reaction, being a little bit scared of something like that, that's pretty rational, okay? That's not a phobia. Okay, a phobia of spiders would mean you see a tiny little garden spider, you piss your pants, fall down on the ground, and need help breathing for the next 20 minutes. Okay, it means your reaction to it is not measurable to the threat that is or is not there. All right? So being uncomfortable at the fact that having a needle shoved in your gums at the dentist sucks isn't the same as having a panic attack or an actual fucking meltdown over just the thought of going to the dentist. All right? Nobody likes being confined. It's uncomfortable. That doesn't make you claustrophobic. And again, Lily, you have an explosive, aggressive reaction anytime you're uncomfortable, and that's not phobia. That's an untreated mental health disorder. Oops. I have a fear of heights. Okay. I don't have a phobia of heights. Okay. I don't have an irrational fear that makes me freak the fuck out and become completely illogical because a height is involved. Okay. I can still go on a plane. I can look across a bridge. I can look over a fucking edge of something and get a little bit of vertigo. The difference, the thing is, heights make me uncomfortable and a little bit afraid, which is completely rational because if you fall from a great enough of a height, you're going to die or get hurt. That's survival, okay? Not being happy at the idea of having sharp instruments poked and prodded into your mouth is not a phobia, it's survival. Okay, having a jump scare reaction to a creature that many of which are undistinguishable from the other and plenty of them can kill you is not an irrational reaction. It's very rational to the thought, the prospect of a potential threat. It's, oh God, it's a spider. Okay, well, shit, it's a spider. Having the creepy crawlies and not being able to deal with the spiders, again, not itself a phobia, because that is you, your survival instinct, not wanting to entertain the risk of getting bit. I might have an irrational fear of bees because I run away and can't go outside much because of them. Are you allergic to them, Wendy? I used to think I was, terrified of spiders. I used to think I had arachnophobia, and then I got a pet tarantula. It's rational to have a fear of heights due to traumatic experience, not because it's a natural reaction. No, no, I'm saying it is a natural reaction to have a fear of heights. Because it's just a survival instinct. Most people get a little shaky when they're up somewhere high because your subconscious has already done the math of, oh, if we fall from here, it's gonna hurt. Used to, you're not anymore. Okay, well then again, that's not exactly an irrational fear, because that fear stems from what was a very real possibility of the thing could kill you. A lot of natural fear comes from, you have a pet tarantula? No, no, I used to have a pet tarantula. I also had pet scorpions and what was the other bug that I had? Arachnid. The lobster's just a sea roach. I don't know, dude. I had 42 to 48 animals at one point when I was with my ex. And yeah, it was getting the tarantula that made me realize I'm not actually afraid, like, I'm not irrationally afraid of spiders. I just don't like loose spiders that could potentially hurt me. Like, I call them rules for the spiders that I have in my house. Like, I can't touch the ceiling. I can't reach the ceiling. That's useless real estate to me. So, as long as they stay out of arm's reach and they stay up on the ceiling, I don't give a fuck. They can as many spiders as they want to live in the house can live in the house. You guys can walk on the ceiling. The ceiling is your floor. Do whatever you want. I don't give a shit. Just don't come into my space. Because I don't go up into your space. I don't chase you up on the ceiling and squish you. So, like, don't come down into, like, halfway down the wall and on the floor where it's my space. And, we have a good relationship. It works fantastically, they start to come down from the ceiling and I just sit there and go, no, go back up. You're getting evicted. And then usually they'll climb up, except unless they have a death wish. How can spiders follow the rules? I told you, like, that's the thing, like, if one's climbing down the wall, then I'll sit there and, like, I'll just start, like, blowing on them or, like, fan something in their direction because they'll be like, oh my God, stimulation, and they'll run back up to their house. And it's like, I can't reach you up there. You're not dropping on my head. You're not bothering me. I'm not going to bother you. So for the most part, they go back up, but the odd time there's one that'll go down, and it depends on where I am at that point. Like, if I'm comfortable and I don't want to move and you're not that big of a spider, I don't give a fuck anymore. I really don't. You're going to disappear soon enough and I'll forget you exist. The only difference is the hobo spiders. Now, the hobo spiders that get into the basement sometimes, yeah, they get the idea. Or they die and only the smarter ones prevail. So it's fine. I'm helping their economy. They eat the bugs. It's great. There's one that'll camp out right near the cat bowl, one of the cat bowls, because like in the summertime when it gets hot, usually the flies love to be around the cat bowl. So Batman usually gets his own spider that hangs out by his bowl to catch all the flies and shit that are like, hey, this looks good. Oops. But the only difference is when it comes to hobo spiders, because they're huge. First of all, they're huge and they freak me out because I can see all their joints moving and it's just, I'm sorry, it makes me too uncomfortable. And there's also the fact that hobo spiders potentially can hurt cats depending on the size of the cat because they are so large and some cats are so small. And I'm just not running the risk with my babies. So I'm sorry, the hobo spiders die on sight. That's the only rule. Undertale taught me not to fear spiders, rather capitalism. So I love that somebody just apparently comes by and goes, hey, can you tell us everything you're irrationally afraid of? And the first thing Lily says is, my sister. Also, Lily, while we're talking about it, you weren't afraid of me when I wasn't online to call you out on your shit. You weren't afraid of me when you were bragging to your following about how Goofy apparently owes you millions of dollars because you've beaten the shit out of me on the regular. You weren't afraid of me when you were telling your following that I hit you in the head with a remote, so you punched me 15 times on the stomach, and I hit the ground crying, and then I went and called Dad to tell on you. You didn't do that. You weren't afraid of me then. You weren't afraid of me when you were telling your audience that apparently you stood up to a girl that I was bullying who totally said that you changed her life because nobody's ever taken her side, I think is what you said. Um, you didn't seem afraid of me when you were saying, and I quote, I love my sister. I don't want her to die. I'd give her a lung if I had to. You also didn't seem afraid of me when you were rejoicing on me apparently being homeless at the prospect of me freezing to death in Halifax in the autumn, which is weird because I mean that would just tie right in with your little Tara backstory, wouldn't it? You'd love if I froze to death because Tara's little sister froze to death, and that would just be so great for you. I couldn't keep calling you out on your bullshit if I froze to death. My fear of heights is due to traumatic experience and not because it's natural, like even when I slightly high. I remember you have a breakdown, I don't know what you call that. Well, yeah, that sounds like a legit phobia, to be quite honest. Like that sounds like a rather irrational response to the at the time threat, which phobias can come from trauma. That's usually where some of them stem from. Usually where some of them, that's an idiosyncrasy. I know it's PTSD, don't know if it's considered a phobia or fear or not. At that point, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. If it's a trauma-induced phobia or a trigger, like one could argue that it's the same thing. And like, it's rational, but it's not rational at the same time. Would be ironic considering how cold her heart is, right? Now what's funny is now I'm indoors and freezing. I mean, it's I'm not freezing. I'm just not comfy. I'm not warm and cozy. I'm cold. It's cold, and I got no hot water. I gotta boil water for a bath. And I don't know how long it's gonna be that way. Oil heating is the worst, you guys. Oil heating is the worst. Oh yeah, you didn't seem scared when you were telling people that I'm nothing and that I'm nobody and I'm just an internet mean girl. So like now you're irrationally terrified of just an internet mean girl. Like you didn't seem scared when you try to embarrass me by claiming my friends leave me, even though that's you, or that I've been through dozens of boyfriends, 2 boyfriends and 1 husband. Or how you so totally talk shit about me with one of my ex-friends. If so, fucking name them then. What's their name? So where's the fear and when you gonna start showing it? You're so full of shit, your eyes are brown. How cold does it get out there? Oh, Jesus. Out east tempo? Outside, if we're counting wind chill, in the winter it can get low as like minus 36, minus 38. It's cold enough to freeze to death out here. Hobo spiders, giant Australian spiders. Hobo spiders aren't Australian, they're North American, and like they're typically harmless. They're harmless to most people, but like small children, like babies and like small animals are at risk of being harmed by them simply because of the size and the amount of toxin that they do carry. But they're not hurtful to people. I just don't run the risk with my cats, especially because Batman loves to play with spiders and fuck with them and eat them, and I don't need him getting bit on the face by a hobo spider. Lily has friends. I mean, she's had a few. It's supposed to be really cold here next week, might even snow. Oh, it snowed before Christmas. It's slowly been going away. Thankfully it doesn't snow again. It rained the other day, actually. I'm gonna go back to my full screen. Back to my full screen. Do 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 do. According to Lily, her skin is brown too. No, it fucking isn't. Lily, you're the same color as I am. I love that. I love when she does that. She's like, I just used a cool tone, a cooler shade. No, Lily, you like color yourselves the color of my fucking wall. I got flashbang going on. Like you can barely tell the difference between my sweater and my skin, and bitch, this sweater is pink, and you're the same color as me. They're one of those spiders that gets mistaken as a brown recluse. What? Batman is a vigilante with spiders. Batman sees something as small as a spider and tries to toy with it. I mean, anyone who's friends with Lily is either sadly ignorant or a terrible person as well. Yeah, I mean, at this point, people are like, oh, who's following her? Who's watching her? Children who she still has power over and influence over, and other pedophiles. That's who's watching her. That's who's listening to her. That is who's interacting with her. Largely other pedophiles. There's a spider outside of my, house for a while, and I named her Charlotte. I miss her. Aw. Yeah, I usually name the spider that ends up by, I have hiccups, Batman's bowl. I usually end up naming that Robin. I might have to go soon and make dinner, guys, because it's like 11 o'clock. Courtney, you haven't made dinner and it's 11 o'clock? No, because I didn't even get up till like 4. Speaking of which, Kim was ignorant at first, but yeah, she realized quickly. Oh, KP? Well, KP just didn't know. And then, like, literally as soon as it was brought to her attention, she was like, yo, hold up, wait a minute. What? There's a cat that comes to my house a lot. I call him Frank. Frank! Oh, I'm not leaving right now, but I have to go soon. Do, 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 do. I am broke until the end of the month, so your girl's gotta cook all the meals. Cannot be ordering food. Get a 4 p.m. Do you sleep well? I mean, I stay up until like, but no, I don't. Long answer short, no. It's been avoiding sleep. Everything's been rough. Like, it was the first Christmas without my mother-in-law. It's the anniversary of my surrogate mother's death. Really getting tired of living in this tomb. Now there's no heat or hot water and hasn't been for a few days. And I don't know when there will be. It's just, everything's a lot. I'm struggling. So I avoid sleep and I stay up all night. What was the falling off with you and KP had? No, me and KP never had a falling off. I'm a little confused. Me and KP were talking the other day. Do people think me and KP had a falling out? Because we didn't. I may have I may have like used her in an example on a stream where it's like, if I turn around and like I'm not friends with KP anymore, I don't expect you guys to think that she's a bad person or something. I may have said something like that, but that was just an example. Like, no, me and KP are chill. She's cool beans. Oh, thank you, Bubblegum. I was just struggling to get through fucking holidays and I don't know, everything just like 2025 did not start up great. I think they're getting KP and Brit mixed up. Oh, maybe. In terms of me and Brit, well, long story short, we had a personal argument and that ended the friendship because of what was said between the two of us. I'm not getting into specific details. Um, we were both shitty to each other and it ended the friendship. And then she got a bee in her fucking bonnet about some shit with somebody else and decided to, I don't know, self-victimize herself because of that. I gave up trying to understand. Long story short, what happened was we had a personal argument and the two of us said some shitty things to each other and it ended the friendship. And that's why we've never really talked about it publicly. It's because it was a personal conflict that ended the relationship and then because I went and made a vague post about an insult, something that she said that I took, like, I made a vague post about something she said in DMs that I took very fucking insultingly and very fucking personally. And then she went and lost her shit online because she went and put her name on that and said, now you're dragging me into shit. Now you're making this public and now people are going to come to me when it's like, bitch, nobody knew who I was talking about except for the person who said those fucking words to me, so that's not me dragging anything into public. That's not me fucking making anybody aware of the situation. That is me making a post And the person who needed to understand it fucking understood it. And yeah, saying, love being called just another one by someone I thought was a friend is a pretty vague fucking post. And I get a little pissy sometimes now that she like fucking runs her mouth about me left, right, and center. Anywhere but where I can see it, of course. Because she will not fucking address me to my fucking face. And twists and fucking mangles the fucking story because she's like, I'm not going to discuss private things publicly, but I'm going to post a bunch of shit and accuse Courtney of a bunch of things and insinuate that this has to do with a bunch more than it had to do with. All because she got pissed the fuck off because I said being called just another one by someone I thought was a friend really fucking sucks. And if you and honestly, Britt, if you took that so fucking personally, it's because you knew exactly what you fucking did. And you rushed to defend yourself because you knew you were in the wrong. And God knows she'll probably say something about this. Someone will go and tell her, Courtney said something about you. Yeah, I fucking did. And you know what? No, I'm a little bit fucking tired of people like not people. I'm a little bit fucking tired of Brit running her mouth about my mental state. Meanwhile, she's grandstanding on shit that's not true. Y'all want to know what the fucking argument was about? I'm pretty sure I've already said this on stream, but fuck it, I'm gonna do it again. The argument was over something that happened in my Discord server when Brit wasn't even there for it. There was a voice chat going on in my Discord server, and there was somebody who was in my Discord server at the time. This was the original server that I had deleted. Um, There's three people in the Discord chat, and one of these people was saying some very pro-terrorism kind of shit. And by the time I found out about it, what I did was I came into the voice chat and said, "Hey, do you want to repeat what the fuck it was you just said?" Had the person repeat what they said and basically told them off for it, shut down the voice call, fucking made it inaccessible, changed some server rules, made an announcement, and kicked that person. Okay? Because fucking like you can't come into my server and talk about Palestine fucking attacks and like you being pro bombings and shit and think it needs to happen more on my Discord server. Like there is no and like there is no talking somebody down from that conversation either. There is no let's change the subject, let's moderate this. That kind of shit would get me put on a watch list, okay? Because it's my fucking server. So that shit needed to be shut down right from the fucking get-go and going forward just not brought the fuck up. So because I had had an issue previously in the server of people who were not mods trying to mod instead of getting a mod, I what I had done was I had lumped in my problems with those issues in the past and what had just happened in the voice chat into my new rules and announcement. Okay? So I talked about the new rules to the voice chat, the topics that were not allowed, that anybody who was caught trying to be a mod without actually being a mod was going to just get kicked. There was not going to be any warnings going forward. And one other thing that I can't remember. All right? So one other person, actually Fennec, was one of the other people in the voice chat, took personal offense to the modding comment because he felt that that was personally directed at him. And him and the other person who was in the voice chat, not the person doing the pro-terrorism talk, decided to both go run to Brit, who was offline at the time, because they were mad about my new server announcements because they both felt it was directed at Fennec when it was not directed at Fennec, and it wasn't even done with Fennec in mind. I had no problems with Fennec being in the situation because Fennec wasn't caught like adding to the problem. Everyone just got to be in their bonnet because while I was dealing with this and pissed off about dealing with it, I said, okay, going forward, if anybody talks about this shit, you just come get me right away, all right? There's, like, no talking it down, no changing stuff. We just get Courtney right away, all right? So Fennec took that personally and then doubled down. Wait, is this Discord public? And every Discord's technically public. It's public by default because it's a social networking server. But no, the link to it is not public. Even the old one, the link was not public. You could only get into that Discord server by me personally inviting you. Kind of like now, you can only get in by me personally inviting you or becoming a member of my channel. Those are the only two ways to get in. Yeah, if you hang around the beginning of the month, Mark H. Rebark usually gives subs, so have your gift subs on, and you can get in that way. But it's not just like public to join, and it never really was. No offense. So anyway, so Britt comes, like, I'm in the mod chat. I'm just like talking with the mods that were online about what had just happened, and Britt comes swooping in, white knighting for Fennec, blasting my fucking ass for going after Fennec and punishing Fennec for something he didn't do, and it wasn't being fair to Fennec, and it wasn't fair to make that rule about Fennec when I didn't make the rule about Fennec. I was not punishing Fennec. Nothing was directed at Fennec. And I was, in fact, about to talk to the mods about promoting Fennec to be a fucking mod. But Britt wouldn't get the stick out of her ass. She wouldn't shut the fuck up long enough to realize that I wasn't talking about Fennec, because she completely argued. She goes, yes, you are. You're talking about Fennec, and you're directing this at Fennec, and you're punishing Fennec without punishing Fennec. You're threatening Fennec with being kicked out if he does something again. I'm like, that's not what I said. That's not what I said at all. That is an interpretation that you're pulling out of your ass from somebody else who feels slighted because I rushed my way through saying, from now on, if anybody brings this up, we just get Courtney. In my fucking server. So me and Britt went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. She's saying, you're punishing Fennec. Me saying, I'm not punishing Fennec. She's saying, you're punishing Fennec and it's unfair. I'm saying, I'm not punishing Fennec. And this was in front of people. This was in front of the other mods that were actually in my server. So I muted her. I stopped responding to her. I'm like, I'm just not fucking talking to you. Like, you won't let this go. You won't shut the fuck up. You won't get over yourself long enough to realize you're all mad about something that ain't even fucking happening. So I'm just done. I'm done with this conversation. I will talk to you some other time. So she jumps into my DMs to keep going and keep going and keep going. And no matter how many times I said, stop it, stop yelling at me, stop talking to me, stop messaging me, stop violating the boundary that I have clearly put in place that I do not wish to communicate with you. I am angry. I am pissed off. I am not in a place to communicate, and I need to take a step away, and you need to respect that by leaving me the fuck alone. And she refused to, and she refused to. And it got to the point where I snapped, and I said, fine, you and, verbatim, I quote, this is what I said, you and the other mods have 2 days to figure out who amongst you is taking control of the server, because I need a break. She said, wow. You're just gonna dip out on everybody, just like that. I guess you're just another one. And then she left the mod channel, she left the mod fucking role, and then I kicked her from the fucking server, and then I turned around and just deleted the server because I rage deleted it because I was pissed off. Especially at her response. So yeah, and like, honestly, that's exactly why me and Britt are not friends anymore. And considering during the argument, we had just been talking about Poppy and Ethel and people using the topic of my sister to exploit the victims of my sister, her calling me just another one, whether she intended it or not, came off as her calling me just another Ethel or just another Poppy. And from someone who I consider to be a friend, because we had been speaking for about a year at that point, a little over a year, yeah, that really fucking hurt. So yeah, I went to my fucking Tumblr and I said verbatim, being called just another one by someone I thought was a friend really fucking sucks. And do you know who called me that? Brit. And do you know where she called me that? In the DMs. So who would get the idea that I was specifically talking about Brit with that post? Brit and Brit only. And she got her panties in a bunch, so she attached her name to it, so now everybody knew that post was about her. And she fucking did that, not me. And as much as she wants to sit here and act like I'm just the poor bystander who's attacked by everybody with a platform, you've been on Tumblr for 10 plus years. You have a platform, Brittany. You have a fucking platform. You have a larger platform than I do. Just because your face isn't on camera doesn't mean jack shit. Just because you're not a YouTuber doesn't mean you don't have a following. Do you have any idea how harassed I was by people who were so pissed off on your behalf because I had the audacity to be offended by something you said to me? While you violated every one of my social boundaries that I tried to put in place by telling you to leave me alone? You're not a victim, Brittany. Not of me. You're a victim of your own fucking hubris. So yeah, so that's why me and Britt aren't friends anymore. Because she called me just another one for the crime of saying, hey, you and the trusted people decide who has it amongst themselves to take care of this because I need a break. And you know what Britt had said the whole fucking year beforehand while she was a mod in my Discord? Oh, if you ever need to step away, if you ever need a break, you just let me know. And the second I let her know, she cut and fucking ran. So yeah, it's not my responsibility, it's not my fault, and it's not my fucking prerogative that she went and announced to Tumblr that that post was about her. She didn't have to do that, she made that choice. Just like she made the choice to not leave me alone when I left the mod chat to stop talking to her. Just like she didn't, make the choice to leave me alone when I blocked her on Discord so she would stop messaging me. And she jumped to Tumblr to start messaging me. Like, this girl block evaded her at every fucking point that I put down to be like, hey, I don't want to talk to you right now. She went, I don't give a shit. I want to tell you what a piece of shit you are. And she wants to sit there and be like, I'm running out of patience. I'm getting tired of being treated like shit. You're not always the victim, Britt. Sometimes you're the shitty person. And yeah, you insinuating that I was putting intent into something that I wasn't, and like literally distracting from the fact that I was just about to talk about promoting Fennec, which is the opposite of a fucking punishment, you daft cunt. But you were so fixated on being right and being correct and being the one to put Courtney in her place. Because when I told you I needed to leave, you're like, so much for us keeping you in check. Because that's apparently all I was a fucking ego boost to you. Good, holy shit, that's bad. I mean, pissed me off. Wasted my fucking time, to be quite honest. Like, I thought we were friends. Oops. And yeah, like, when someone like Ant, who has not actually said more than like 3 messages to me, one of those being, hey, what's Lily's address so I can send her a cease and desist? Like, when someone like that goes, oh my god, I'm gonna say a bunch of bad shit about Courtney, it's like, that's cool, bitch, you don't know me. Like, you don't know me from a fucking hole in the wall. You have said my names more time in your videos than you have spoken to me yourself. I'm not worried about your opinion. But when someone who I've been talking to and considered, like, myself friends with for, like, a year just goes, oh, you're just another one, and cuts and runs the second I'm not the perfect victim, the perfectly strong victim, yeah, that one hurts a little more. And at the time, Tumblr was my social media, so yeah, I posted about my hurt there. Just like I posted about my hurt from my parents' abuse. It's fine that Courtney posts about her hurt when it's not us who hurt Courtney, but the second it's us who feel guilty because we did it, then Courtney shouldn't be posting this on the internet. She must be spiraling and re-traumatized. Nah, bitch, I'm just angry because you turned out to be a cunt. Now, again, I don't expect anybody to like form their opinion based on my experiences with her. I'm not saying just because I think she's a cunt that is objective fact to her overall character. I still sit here and give her the fucking props that she deserves for, excuse me, like having hold of all the information for so long and keeping it somewhat relevant, easily enough accessible that I was able to find it. You know, I still sit here and be like, well, yeah, it makes more sense that June talked to her than to me. She's got more of the information. But, oh, Courtney's just such a horribly toxic person about Brit. No, I just personally think you're a fucking asshole. Because of shit you have said to me about me. And then you and Fennec got your panties in a twist over the Mylena thing. And then got real fucking mad that I started letting slip that's weird because I'm pretty sure we've had conversations when you about the fact that you've had conversations where Mylena's admitted to the fact that she's a pedophile supporter and then you backtracked because you didn't want to make a public spectacle. So now I'm putting words in your mouth and calling you a pedophile supporter. No, I'm saying, and that you were playing nice with a pedophile supporter. Playing nice was your own phrasing when you said, sorry that I'm playing nice in public. So it's funny that you're gonna try and put in quotations your own description of your own fucking actions. That's just how disingenuous you are about our falling out. You need to twist it into three things that it isn't. Because you're not adult enough to be like, we had a personal conflict in which we both said some shitty things to each other and it ended the friendship. Because guess what? Not everything has a happy ending. Sometimes that's just the way it is. Sometimes the friendship just ends. Sometimes sorry doesn't cut it. Sometimes people don't make up. Sometimes it's not amicable. And not every time that happens, there is a fucking victim and an abuser. Because, and please let it be known, I am in no way calling Brittany abusive in our friendship, because she wasn't. She was just a massive raging fucking cunt that one argument. As was I, fully, but I've already fucking owned up to my side more than once, so I'm done harping on it. She wants to sit there and be like, Courtney was so abusive to me. Nah, bitch, we were friends. We had a disagreement. It turned into an argument. We both said some shitty things to each other, and you still aren't over it. Some people can't understand that victims are able to be shitty people as well. Some people also don't understand that there isn't always a victim and an abuser. Not every conflict is abuse. Okay? We had a fundamental misunderstanding because she was convinced that I meant something that I didn't and was refusing to hear me tell her that was not the case. So it started from that misunderstanding. And her doubling down and me doubling down led to both of us getting more aggressive and defensive, which led to both of us saying shitty things out of anger. And for me, the shitty thing that she said was like a final straw, a line drawn in the sand. Wow, I do not wish to be friends with you anymore because I don't think you're a good person when it comes to how you treat me. So that just happens. That's fucking life. There's 6 billion people, over 6 billion people on this planet, and you think you're gonna get along amicably with every single fucking one of them? Please. If you're not able to go through life and like experience a friendship breakup without having to assign someone as abuser and abuse victim, you have a persecution complex. I'm sorry if I'm the first to tell you, but you have a persecution complex. You should bring it up with your therapist. Because the world is not out to get you, and not every bad thing that happens to you is abuse. Over 8 billion, exactly. It's like fucking shaking a bunch of marbles in a bag and expecting all of them to not come out cracked. Not all of them to come out cracked. Or that didn't work. It's like shaking a bunch of marbles in a bag and not expecting any of them to crack. Like that's just not gonna happen. And it's not the end of the fucking world. And that's the thing. Mine and Brit's falling out did not have to be the end of the world. It didn't have to be a spectacle. It didn't have to be the fucking thing that it is now where people still talk about it and she still posts about it and I still have to fucking go over it because she wants to post about it on fucking Tumblr where she thinks I can't see it. Well, and that's the thing. Not all conflict is abuse. Someone disagreeing with you is not a personal fucking insult. And if you take, and like, just like being wrong is not a personal insult. So many people take just the aspect of being incorrect as an insult to them personally that's why they get so fucking defensive when someone goes, well, you're not correct about that. You're actually wrong about that. You aren't always a victim of everything that happens just because you say you are. Exactly. And like, not everything has to do with my personal trauma either. Like, me being a bitch to Brit during the fight in which we were both a bitch to each other. Like, I'm sure she considers me the raging cunt in the situation. I'm perfectly fine saying we were both fucking raging cunts. I know how I get. Um, that has nothing to do with my fucking trauma. That has nothing to do with the fact that I was raped. It had everything to do with the fact that, from my perspective at the very least, the person yelling at me, coming at me aggressively for something I did wrong, wasn't listening to the fact that their perception of it in general was not correct. Like, if I sit here and write out the words, the sky is blue, and you come screaming at me about, how dare you say the sky is green, I'm going to inevitably get angry if you keep refusing to listen to, but I never said that. I said the sky was blue. I never said the sky was green. What are you talking about? Like, that's the thing. Like, fuck. And like that's it just and I can sit here and be like there's probably like a dozen different ways in which I can see how she could have done things differently, just like there's a dozen different ways in which I could have done things differently. I didn't have to respond to every message that she sent me. I could have said I was done talking and then not responded, add in the fact that I was also angry and triggered, and like I said, I was getting to the point I needed to step away. Clearly I wasn't able to stop myself from responding, which I should have done, and that part's on me. But like, she didn't have to ignore the clear boundary of, I do not wish to speak with you about this, and you come barging through every door that I close going, well, fuck you, you're wrong, and here's why. Like, nobody's gonna respond to that positively. Like, when you come at anyone that aggressively, of course they're gonna get their back up, and when you back them into a corner, they're going to lash out at you. Now, yeah, I could have just put my phone down and not been in that corner, and that's on me, but she didn't have to, like, emotionally put me in a corner either, so it's on both of us. And I'm sure there's going to be some post where, like, she takes that description as me calling her emotionally abusive or some shit like that, but I'm not, because it wasn't abuse. She was just a bitch, and we got into a fight, and it ended the friendship. It fucking happens. Like, some people just need to get over the fact that they're not going to be friends with everybody. Not every friendship lasts. The world is not out to get you, and not everything you've been through is abuse. Exactly. And like, it's just, and it seems so simple, but at the same time, it's like, it's also, like, hindsight's 2020, and I'm very emotionally in a different perspective. Hi, Jonas. I'm very emotionally in a different perspective, like a different place, so it's easier to look at it now and be like, well, obviously I should have just fucking ignored the bitch and just fucking ignored the bitch. But I didn't, and now here we are. And yeah, and my toxic trait is if I tell you to leave me alone enough times and you refuse to, I will then set out to make you want to leave me alone. Like, if you're not going to take my warning of, hey, you need to stop, like, not in a sense of like, you're wrong and you need to say I'm right. It's just like, listen, we need to stop communicating. You need to stop messaging. We need to stop talking. This needs to stop because it's going to get very fucking bad if it doesn't. If you ignore that, I will let it get bad because in my mind, I've already given you ample opportunity and you've ignored the signs, so now I'm going to make you regret it. It's not a good thing. I'm not saying it's a positive thing that I do. I'm not saying that defends anything that I've done or that it, like in the past or whatever, or like my fight with Britt. But that is one of my toxic traits. I do it with anybody. Like, if I want you to leave me alone and you will not leave me alone, I will make you leave me alone. Possibly forever. Uh, it's my superpower. And I mean online, offline, like anywhere, to be quite honest. I've done it in real life. I've had arguments where I've walked away from people and they've followed me and refused to stop following me, so I have made it bad. So yeah, that's the whole fucking Brit thing. I would say in a nutshell, but it wasn't in a nutshell at all. Why did my chat die? Did the stream die? Nope, nope, there we go, there's back. Alright, it's like almost midnight. I have to go cook and boil water to wash dishes first because I have no hot water. Guys, help, I have no hot water. I don't know when I will. No, no, it's okay, it's okay. Um, it was just because, I was having problems with OBS last time I streamed. But anyway, I think I'm gonna call it here. Remember, Lolicon's bad. Lolicon, big, big bad. Sexualizing children, big, big, big bad. Um, we don't stand for it in this house. I will bully you if you're into Lolicon. You should be bullied constantly, every single day of your life, until you stop being into that shit. Hope my shit gets fixed. Yeah, no, the technician has to come in and see how much that is. Furnaces do suck. I hate oil heat so much. The new house is gonna have electric heat, I swear to God. You'll probably stream on Sunday. Oh, I might join you. I might come hang out, Ruan. I just block Lolly shit. Yeah, I mean that's fair. I just I had the few of them are crawling out of the woodworks, so I was like, okay, well let's just like expose your ass for the pedophile that you are, 'cause you obviously a pedophile. Um, yeah, the kid is romanticizing it. They're probably being groomed or otherwise abused. Well, yeah, you can't like just by definition, you can't be a pedophile if you're a child. You have to be over 16 to be a pedophile. Um, yeah, any kids who are looking at that shit going, "Hey, it's cool." I- I- talk to a therapist. Tell your guidance counselor at school. because that is a sign of very not okay things, and so many different kinds of not okay things that could be, that you really should talk to somebody about it. If someone's showing you that shit, don't talk to that person. They're trying to get you involved in some nasty shit, or they're trying to groom you. Absolutely not. It's not okay. People should not be talking to you like that. Adults should not be talking to you like that. Just no. Belle Delphine does real legal lolly. Oh, there's worse. There's Ruan. There's this one chick. God, I'll have to find her name again. Um, yes. Oh my God, Ethel, I think did do a video on Ruan. Ethel said I was stalking her too. Um, but no, there's this one woman. She's like an OnlyFans model or something. She's like in her foot. Well, she does a lot of porn, and she's like in her 40s or 50s, and she uses all these filters to make herself look barely legal, and it's disgusting. Okay, okay. I have to go cook. I do. I have to go eat. The boyfriend is waiting. He needs to be fed. And I have to go start boiling water. Guess save my furnace, guys. No. Just a friendly reminder, you can always like go to the videos and click super thanks, and that's how you can like send super chats if I'm not on live. Just hint hint, wink wink, nudge nudge. Eh, eh. I don't know. I got emboldened by seeing Malcolm being like, I want a PlayStation 5. So now I'm sitting here like, I want my furnace fixed. Give me money. But I feel bad doing it. Anyway, I'll probably stream again tomorrow because I do like hanging out with you guys. I also have some drawing stuff I want to show off and some games to play, so we'll figure it out. I will keep you guys posted. All right. I always have fun. Smooch. Thanks for joining me, you guys. Finger hearts. Bye.